The funny thing is, what specifically, me throwing that idea out there, there's a reason that I don't see that being a task that would be possible without the contribution of the military. All right? Few reasons. Number one, the Pentagon failing their 7th audit. So the Pentagon has failed 7 audits now. All right? As an individual, if you were to fail an audit, a tax audit, all right, there would be steep financial consequences. As well as professional consequences. All right? Now, another reason why, when it came down to, network development, guess whose project that was? The same network development that created the infrastructure for the internet. The military. Guess which country's military? The United States military. All right? Now, ultimately, the clerical error that I had noticed when it came down to my disability determination process. All right? The inconsistency. That ultimately, basically, there are a whole bunch of people that work at different levels of the government that want to go ahead and just shoo it off. They don't want to have to go ahead under oath to go and explain themselves and explain the discrepancies. All right? But ultimately, it had literally been pointed out that the beginning of the process for my disability case started in December of 1997. And it's 2024. And there are massive discrepancies when it comes down to the overall calculations. All right? Now, ultimately, that right there would actually be enough to go ahead and start a forensic audit of, Social Security, as well as Medicaid program, the programs that, I'd financially contributed through, my entire life. All right? So, the factor of 1997, being the point that the government had to officially start creating databases to document exactly where everything is as far as each individual's process, as well as who had been accessing whose account and whose sensitive information each step of the way. All right? If you think about it, though, from 1986 until 1997, because of the fact that through that point, electronic communications were not allowed to be used, due to the fear of potential fraud, that ends up meaning that there was a literal 11-year blackout period, all right? That there was not simultaneously paper documentation, but as well as digital documentation and, record keeping, all right? And we're talking on a state and federal level. Going ahead and working on that for the entirety of the country would end up going ahead and giving the answers of what really happens to everyone's tax dollars. All right? And being able to give accurate numbers that ultimately any eminent domain or easements that had been wrongfully or fraudulently put on an individual could lead to financial restitutions, despite how long it had been.